Good evening, this is Keith All, and today is a continuation of our series here, and this is how we use PHP MySQLi to create and manage a MySQL database. And this is part 4 of a 5-part series, and today we're going to be just specifically talking about how we update a record using PHP MySQLi function. So again, what I'm using here is the XM control panel, which basically acts as a server on my local PC. And again, you could use any text editor that you want to write your particular PHP files. I'm just using Notepad++ for now. And this tutorial is going to be really short, and it's just going to basically run a SQL statement that updates data within the MySQL database. So let's go over, let's first go over to the PHP MyAdmin to show you what the record values are, and then we'll get into the actual code and we'll run the example. So let's go there now. Okay, we're in the PHP MyAdmin. This is where it's a user interface where you could actually edit and build your MySQL databases and add, insert records, update them, whatever you need to administer your database. So right now we could see that what exists, if I refresh this up here, what exists in the book table of our library database, we have 3 individual records. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be updating this record here with a book ID equal to 1. So let's now first let's run the query or the PHP file that actually updates this record, and then we'll get into the code. So let's go there now. Okay, now let's go over to our web page, which in this case it's I'm running it from my local server here on my PC, and we're gonna run the update data.php file. So what it did was it executed the query within our code successfully, and now we're going to go into our code to explain this further. So let's go there now. Okay, after we ran the script, the update PHP file, we can now see the results of our database, and you can see that we updated this record, which has a book ID of 1, and we updated these values here. So let's now look at the code to see how we went ahead and did this. Okay, this is just a simple PHP file, and everything that we need to update our record, our specific record in our database, is within this file itself. Again, this is just one way to do it. Of course, if you're running a much bigger web page, we're going to separate certain functions into a separate file. But this is just to show you what's needed in order to update a record within your MySQL database using PHP. Again, our first step is to declare our variables, because what we want to do over here is we want to connect to our database. In this case, our database is library, and we're using a MySQLi function in order to make a connection to our server and our database. Our next step after that is we're going to check to see whether or not our connection here was successful or not. So this statement, this if statement, is checking basically for an error that gets returned after we run this MySQLi function. And if there was an error, then we're going to use the die function to report back to the end user through the browser what that error was. And if it was an error, it's just going to stop running the script after it does this. Otherwise, if there was a successful connection, then we're going to come down here and we're going to run a SQL statement, an SQL statement, and basically we're using the update SQL statement right here, and we're hard coding this statement into our PHP file. Again, you wouldn't want to do this in an actual live website, because what we want to do is we want to be able to make this more dynamic. But anyways, here's our update statement, and after we assign that to the SQL variable, then we're going to run this query function and check to see whether or not it was true, meaning did this SQL statement run correctly. And if it did, we're just going to display a message into the browser. And if the query was not successful, then we're going to display another message to the browser, basically stating what our error is. And then at the end here, after it does that, we're just going to close our connection, and basically we're freeing up resources. So I hope this tutorial was very helpful for you today, or at least give you an idea on how you can update your records in a MySQL database using the MySQLi function in order to do that. So again, please like, share, and or comment as you see fit. Remember, there's always someone else out there that wants to learn how to do this. So that's why it's so important to like and share this video. I'll see you on the next and last part of this series. And what we're going to be talking about is how we delete records. So I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.